What's happening, people? Welcome to LoreBoys. We are live on YouTube right about now. It's great to be back inside the building. Man like Marauder is finally here.
Yes.
How are you doing, sir? You good?
I'm good. Yeah, chilling as always. It's good to see this set up, and
Yeah.
it's looking a lot more. What's even the word? Just
real.
Real,
It exists. We're finally doing YouTube.
It's an interesting one. I've not really done this kind of stuff before. Obviously done radio with yourself in the past, but I think it's gonna be fun. So.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. I'm excited. I mean, we've put a few videos up on the channel already, and we've been bouncing around a few ideas. And obviously, this channel is going to be—it's called LoreBoys, so it's going to be focused almost entirely on stuff that has lore, realistically.
Yeah.
And there's a ton of stuff in that kind of bracket. Marvel's going to be a big one, obviously, as a big part of this channel.
It's got to be. It's like one of my biggest.
I mean,
things.
you bought me the two little. You bought me the Black Panther up there.
I got you the Panther one. Yeah. Yep.
So yeah, we've got a long kind of history of watching Marvel. We go to see Marvel films together in our group, and I'm sure we'll get a few more guests on from the from the group that we've got set up. But yeah, today we are going to be looking at She-Hulk. Obviously, Comic-Con was a huge event, lots of big announcements, lots of big kind of launches in regards to big Avengers films. But we're looking at kind of street level stuff with She-Hulk. You've seen the trailer?
Yeah. It's my favorite is street level.
Okay.
I love it's for me. I think like planetary level. Just get in the bin. It's all about street and cosmic.
Yeah,
that's it. Like,
so what would you describe as planetary level then?
Like the Avengers.
Okay.
So you know, like Avengers, we're talking Iron Man sort of stuff. Whether he's not just even operating in just America. It's planetary.
Yeah. So stuff going on around the world.
Yeah.
And then street level is it's basically New York.
Yeah. It's basically. I always just think of Daredevil immediately.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's going to be quite an interesting one then, because obviously what we've seen with Marvel recently is they are pushing more into this kind of street level direction. Obviously, reintroducing the Defenders to the MCU as a whole. Obviously, introducing Kingpin in Hawkeye. That seems like it could be moderately street level. Again, Miss Marvel looks moderately street level in the kind of
She's
conversations
definitely going a bit of a sideways way on that though.
Yeah.
Obviously, she's going to be in the Marvels, which is
course.
fully cosmic, but
But you see what I mean? Like, they are doing people that aren't necessarily these people that are going and saving the world instantaneously, and it's like a massive thing that everyone knows about. They are kind of jumping in a little bit closer. So I thought we'd make a bit of a list of characters we could expect to see in She-Hulk based on that theme, because we know this is going to be potentially one of the most intertwined MCU sort of series that we see. Almost similar in a way to What If, because we're going to be seeing, what if that person drops into this series? We're going to see potentially previous MCU characters coming back. That's been hinted at a lot. We know Abomination's going to be featuring. We know from the trailer that Daredevil's going to be featuring. So I've made a little list of people I think we could well end up seeing. Should we run through a few of them?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay, cool. So I've got this on my screen here. So I think Jessica Jones is a cert, realistically.
When you messaged me about this list, I think that was the first thing I was like, yeah, it's gonna be her. Like, you know, she's not exactly lore as such based, but almost on the fringe of that. She's like a PI.
Yeah, I mean, anything to do with detective and finding evidence and things like that. It all kind of ties into lore, and obviously she's got Hogarth in that series, which is very closely linked to the lore sort of side of things. The lawyer.
Oh yeah. Yep, I actually do recall that. It's been a while since I watched that show.
And she's obviously like the lore element of that show. So there is a sort of tie-in going on. But I definitely think Jessica Jones is someone we could see. And to be honest, I think we're going to see a lot of characters from the Defenders pop up in this series. I think this is going to be the intertwining point.
This is going to be the start. I mean, obviously we've seen a singular pop up so far. But I think we are going to see a cascade of more of this coming in, and this is going to be the start of it.
I definitely think so. I mean, Daredevil I've got written down here. We already know that's going to happen. I think we could end up seeing Echo in this series. I think that could be one we see, because she's obviously involved with crime. We know at the end of the Hawkeye, where Echo makes her debut, we see obviously Kingpin get taken out. We hear the gunshot and it goes to that, but she's obviously involved in quite a big crime syndicate. So that could be someone that actually pulls in, and maybe that's how her and Daredevil end up meeting. This could be the series that
would be cool. I actually really enjoyed Echo as well. I thought they did her justice. I thought it was very cool that they actually got a deaf actor to play her. I was all about it.
Yeah, it was a cool thing to see. I'm excited to see how, if she does come in, how she does intertwine. Like, what is she said to have done? How they're going to address her being deaf in a courtroom, for instance, in an MCU setting. There are so many kind of interesting scenarios. Would there be like Stark Tech or something like that in the courtroom helping? because this is going to be an agency headed up by like an international division, isn't it? So,
I do really hope that we get some strange like courtroom situation where you've got Matt Murdock who's blind and Echo who's deaf, and them having to sort of work out what's going on in the courtroom, and
there's just going to be like a little blink where they're going. And Foggy steps in. Foggy steps in at that moment, being like that. I haven't got it next on this list, but I will bring them up to those two up next. I definitely think we'll see Foggy. I think he is.
I really hope so,
because he is one of the most underutilized. If they don't bring him in, that is the definition of an underutilized gem. He's such a good character.
I absolutely loved him in Daredevil. I mean, I loved all the Daredevils so much.
He pops up in Luke Cage as well, doesn't he? He pops up. He
does briefly. Yeah, I didn't actually get around to finishing the last season of Luke Cage, but he pops in a little bit earlier than that. I think.
Well, there's a few. I know the cop. I can't remember her name off the top of my head. The police officer does a few of them. We know the Night Nurse pops around and does a few of them.
You mean Misty Knight?
Misty Knight, Misty Knight, that's the one. The Night Nurse moves around a few of them. Foggy moves around a few of them. They have already got that interconnectivity.
Yeah, for sure.
So as soon as you tie those into, which we already have with Daredevil, we've already and obviously Vincent D'Onofrio popping up has kind of confirmed that, and that's where it gets really exciting. I think that would be really cool to see. But yeah, moving on this list then, Zhao Ling from Shang-Chi.
Yeah. So
because obviously she runs the crime syndicate. She runs the Ten Rings now.
Oh, I see who you mean now. So Shang-Chi's sister.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
That could be a cool way of tying that sort of side of things in, because we know Wong's going to pop up, so, and obviously Wong's spoken to Shang-Chi. That could be a way of tying in. It's a bit of a far-fetched one, because obviously the Ten Rings is based in a different continent.
I do think that's a shot in the dark, but not impossible.
Yeah. Marvel like doing that though. They always put Wong in stuff. Wong's become like the new
Fury,
isn't it?
Yeah. I kind of like that though, honestly. Yeah. I think he didn't get his dues in the first Strange film, and the early days, and he's come back around, and and
he's become a mainstay. He has become he's the guy that brings everyone together. So another one from Shang-Chi. Which I think could work really well, especially on the comedy side of things, because we know this is going to have
an interesting
comedy
one. I can
elements.
see it on the screen.
Is Trevor Flattery, who obviously is the actor who's in Iron Man 3, I believe it is. And he obviously appears in Shang-Chi as the actor, but he could be someone that they kind of pull in, being like, what's going on with the Ten Rings? And he's going there, I'm just a paid actor. I don't know. I'm just a paid actor. I can imagine him pulling into it, especially for the comedy element.
Or maybe even in the lawyering aspect, he needs to be defended because of all the stuff that went down before.
And he's just like,
he's technically a terrorist.
Yeah.
Like
that sort of thing. And I think that's how they're going to tie so many characters in. I mean, you think of like old Iron Man villains like Aldrich Killian. He could still be alive. What's the name of the Hammer? Hammer could pop up in this.
I'm pretty sure they confirmed Hammer for Armor Wars.
So he could. He's coming back regardless. We know Abomination's in it to begin with, but there are so many. I think Yellow Jacket does die, doesn't he, at the end of the first Ant-Man?
I think it's like pretty.
It's just like
I
he's
can't
gone.
exactly remember what happened to him, but yeah.
Even potentially we could see one that I don't even know his name, but there's a professor in Spider-Man, the one who's helping Mysterio. The bald one who's also in the first Iron Man film.
He
could pop up.
Yeah, because he's still about.
Yeah, he's still cutting about, and he could be giving evidence against Spider-Man maybe in just a one-off scene.
That would be cool.
Like little things like that. So yeah, another one on here, again tying into the sort of Defenders saga, Bushmaster, because I'm pretty sure that could be something that ties in. Again, it's that concept of organised crime.
Yeah,
which goes on.
I never actually finished that series with Bushmaster. I thought he was cool.
Luke Cage does tail off.
Yeah, it's compared to season 1, because I loved Cottonmouth and that whole arc. Bushmaster, although I did think he was still cool, he didn't live up, like in my opinion.
It's not the same level of, especially if you're going against Luke Cage, this impenetrable guy. And you've got you've got this Donnie doing like Taekwondo in front of you, and you're sort of like, okay, but I could just hit you really hard,
just push you through this wall.
Like that I've always kind of struggled with that. But yeah, another one I thought, because again they brought him back for What If. From I think it's from Winter Soldier, Batroc the Leaper, the French Donnie who is the terrorist on the boat. That could be one that, and he's also in Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
I was going to say, didn't we already see him once? Yeah.
But how many times do people kind of get like arrested and taken away at the start? I was going to say
that's not even in the films. In the comics, that's such a thing, because it's like Spider-Man's the classic where
you're locked away. Oh my god, Rhino's broken out of prison again.
Right? Let's sort him out. Yeah. That is the classic.
Yeah, that is. There's another one that's literally just come to mind as well. Crossbones.
Yeah, Crossbones come back a few times, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I mean, he's literally very much exploded now, but
you never know. You never know. Something could happen. There's multiverse stuff going on. You never know.
Yeah.
But yeah, are there any that kind of spring to mind for you off the back of this kind of list?
So the only one that's sort of come off the back of what we've been talking about there is obviously Punisher.
Yeah, Punisher's a good one. I did wonder about putting Punisher down purely because it's a comedy show.
Yeah, he would have a very different tone, wouldn't he?
Yeah, but I suppose that sort of tonality of how dark Punisher could be quite funny.
Maybe a post-cred at the end of the show.
That could be a cool one. I mean, he's like the perfect person, because he's already done the court scene, and he's done it with Karen Page and Foggy Nelson. So.
I think it really depends on how deep Daredevil's role in this show is going to run. If it's literally a cameo, we probably won't see a lot of these Defender-esque characters. If it's a potentially, repeated thing throughout the show, then we might get a bit more of that.
Yeah,
I think.
It's going to be exciting. It's going to be exciting to see the scale at which they go, because in the trailer they say we're heading up this new division, and it's going to be all about basically superhuman affairs and sort of enhanced affairs. So whether they go because there are a lot of characters in Marvel that aren't enhanced. There are a lot of characters that are like mainstays that aren't enhanced. So seeing how this then ties in, it's going to be very exciting. I mean, I'm excited for the series. Are you excited for it?
I wasn't, and now I am.
Yeah.
I mean, I mean that is not just from Daredevil. That first trailer I think was actually pretty weak.
Yeah. We didn't see much, did we?
The only cool thing in it was just having a bit more Hulk.
Yeah.
And then in this latest one, I've been like, okay, this is looking. I think I read somewhere as well that they'd actually upgraded the CGI between the two trailers.
That surprised me.
And I think I actually noticed it actually looks a lot better.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, and obviously Daredevil.
I completely forgot to mention that. Obviously, Bruce Banner's back in an actual seemingly lead role, almost like a mentor role by the looks of things.
He's barely been in it, since even the beginning.
Well, he popped up at the end of Shang-Chi.
Yeah, very brief, didn't he?
Yeah, and he was back in the normal Bruce Banner sort of way. Now he's back into the Professor Hulk sort of scenario for this, by the looks of things.
I think he might be able to change now, though.
Yeah,
I think that's going to be part of it, because he's going to be teaching She-Hulk how to do that.
But it starts off and they're on that island. It looks like it's out of Tekken Tag Tournament.
Oh my goodness, I love that reference. I did not expect that.
Well, you've got Panda just doing in the trailers,
doing the roles.
But yeah, guys, let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below on this one. Let us know if there's any characters you think will pop up. We do read every single comment that comes onto the page. Obviously, we've only started this, so we want to make sure we're getting you guys involved as much as possible. Make sure you are getting involved by hitting that subscribe button at the bottom of the page, turning notifications on, of course, leaving a like, leaving a comment, and all of that good stuff. And we shall see you all next time. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and peace.